if I get a little bit of an upset tummy, and it could be from food, it could be from that time of the month, it could be a number of factors, I find that drinking peppermint tea, it really soothes an upset tummy.
Welcome to the Healthy Celiac Show. I'm your host, Belinda Whelan from belindawhelan.com, and here you will learn to live your very best life with celiac disease. So we are going to be talking all about health-related topics because you, my friend, are more than just a woman with celiac disease. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode, and welcome to the show.
Hello, welcome back to this week's episode. So this week I thought it would be good to share with you some information about tea. So the thing is with tea, it can be really fantastic for us living with celiac disease, and there might be a little bit of confusion with which teas we can drink, which ones we can't, and of course which ones are best for us living with celiac disease. So let's jump straight into it. So you may know that there's a number of teas that you can drink and some that you may not even be aware that you can't be drinking. So we'll start with the naturally gluten-free teas. So your common teas such as, your black tea, your green teas, your white teas, things like that, they are all naturally gluten-free. So they're fine to be drinking. Also oolong tea and rooibos, even peppermint, ginger, chamomile as well. So they are naturally gluten-free. I have heard that some countries or some companies use gluten in the glue of their tea bags. So that is something that is worth looking into. Here in Australia, I have not found any companies that use gluten in their actual tea bags. I do use tea bags, but I also prefer to use loose leaf tea. So if you prefer to use leaves, that is definitely the best option, but I know that's not always easy for everyone, and tea bags are fine as long as you're using tea bags that are safe for you. And then there are teas that actually may contain gluten. So we do need to be aware of this, and there are a number of teas out there to look for. So the most common ones are flavored teas. So anything that is flavored and has additional things added to it, they can be gluten flavoring. So you do need to be aware of those and look for those on the labeling, and also contact companies if you're unsure. I know throughout the world we have different labeling laws. Here in Australia, we're very strict. We're very lucky that it has to be labelled on all of our packaging. But if you're in a country where that's not the case, then you may need to contact those companies. So flavoured teas are a big one. Also chai tea, some herbal teas, matcha tea, and sprouted seed tea. So the thing with matcha tea is because it's a powdered green tea, they sometimes do add wheat to it. So you do need to watch out for that. And with sprouted tea, it can be made from sprouts that, gluten containing grains come from. So yeah, also need to be careful of that and always read your labels. And then some of the teas that definitely do contain gluten, and this one should ring alarm bells for you, is barley seed tea. That's very obvious, but I do see it very often that people still ask, can we have barley? Well, no, that's one of our top grains that we cannot have with celiac disease. So we definitely cannot be drinking barley seed tea. Another one, which is a Korean tea. I don't know, sorry if I have mispronounced this. I believe it's boricha tea. So Boricha, and that's one that we cannot have. And then also malted tea. So malted tea we definitely can't be having. I personally haven't come across malted tea, but where you are, that may be a common type of tea. So just to be aware of those ones. Now let's talk about my favourite teas. So my most favourite tea to drink is definitely peppermint tea for overall health for celiac disease. Now I find that if I get a little bit of an upset tummy, and it could be from food, it could be from that time of the month, it could be a number of factors, I find that drinking peppermint tea, it really soothes an upset tummy. What it does, it can relieve those digestive symptoms such as gas and bloating. So it's definitely worth giving a go if you haven't added peppermint tea into your regime, whether it's a daily thing or whether, you just do it when you need it. It's a great tea to have on hand, just if you get that uncomfortable feeling and you just feel like you need something to ease it. I find that peppermint tea works really, really well for me. Another one that also could work for you is ginger tea. I'm not a massive fan of ginger tea. I don't really love the flavour of it, so I will choose peppermint over ginger any day of the week, but you might prefer the taste of ginger tea. So that's a good option to have on hand as well. And what it also does is it can help that, how you get that spasming feeling, that like constriction, that tight feeling. It really helps to ease that. So that's definitely worth trying out as well. Now, chamomile tea is a wonderful tea to help reduce inflammation and can help you relax. So if you feel that, you're a little bit overwhelmed, or if you've maybe accidentally had some gluten, chamomile tea can really help to reduce that inflammation that's going on within you. So definitely worth also having on hand, or, adding into your daily regime as well. Me personally, I love peppermint tea at night. I find that it's really calming for me. It's just a bit of a ritual. I like to sit down at night and have a peppermint tea. If my husband's home, we will brew a pot and we'll have it in my teapot and use fresh leaves. And I love that little ritual that we have. It's beautiful. And if you haven't made tea from leaves yet, if you have just stuck with the tea bags, I urge you to give it a go. Buy yourself a beautiful teapot and brew it up with the leaves, because there's just something more special about it. There's just a different feeling and emotion that you get when you drink tea that way. It kind of reminds me of when I was little and I used to go to my grandma's and she would always make tea in a teapot, and it wasn't such a rushed feeling. You'd have the tea and you'd wait for it to brew, and she'd pour it out, and it was just special. Whereas when we use a tea bag, it's a totally different feeling and a totally different way of preparing our tea. So yeah, just something to think about and something to try, guys, if you haven't yet done that. All right, another tea that I'd love you to look into is horsetail tea. So if you've never heard of horsetail tea, it actually reduces inflammation in your digestive tract and the intestines. So it's a wonderful one for all of us that have got celiac disease, because that's what we want, isn't it? We want to reduce that inflammation and we want to look after our intestines, and it can even boost the strength of your digestive system. So one to look out for. You can buy that one in tea bags, or you can also buy it loose and brew it yourself as well. So have a look out for it. That one's probably a bit harder to find. You might need to look at your local health food store or online for that product. It's probably not as easy to find in most supermarkets, so worth checking out. So as with anything, when I'm recommending things like this to you guys, I do want you to speak to your health practitioner, your medical practitioner, and just make sure that these options are safe and okay for you personally. As I am a health coach, I am not a doctor, and I like to just, make sure you guys are safe and doing the best for your unique body. So I hope these ideas help you. Really quick one for you this week, but it's something that I wanted to bring to your attention and, introduce to you and perhaps make a part of your life, because tea is wonderful and there's so many added benefits to it. So thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to talking with you guys again next week. Take care. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, head to belindawhelan.com to get yourself a free copy of my exclusive ebook, 11 Mistakes People Make Going Gluten-Free Living with Celiac Disease.